TikTok has been banned on all Canadian government devices, and reports say COVID may have come from a lab. Vive la Acadie. Welcome to 299 News. I'm Matt.
I'm Aiden.
And I'm Cole. Boys, I have breaking news. Not really breaking news. It happened a month ago about now. But on February 3rd, a train derailed in Ohio, East Palestine, Ohio, releasing toxic chemicals and gases basically throughout the entire town, and has intoxicated the water, meaning you cannot drink it, and the whole area, meaning people are not recommended to leave their house. The Department of Transportation has made a visit, and Donald Trump has made a visit to East Palestine, Ohio.
Only happens in Ohio.
All happens in Ohio.
So
moving on.
Yeah.
It turns out that TikTok has actually been banned from government devices in Canada, and I've heard Aiden's got more news on this headline.
They banned
Go
devices.
Canada.
Yeah, let's go Canada. They banned TikTok. Oh, Canada. Yeah. That's all I've got to say.
We've got his own Canada.
TikTok has been banned on Canadian government devices. Can't say the same for U.S. government devices.
It looks like we're
At least
heading in
not
that
yet.
direction.
We are heading in that direction, though. Yes, we are heading in that direction. So far, Canada has banned TikTok on some of their government devices. And actually, some states in the U.S. have done the same thing, or have been doing the same thing for a few months now. It's only a matter of time before federal devices can no longer have TikTok installed on their government devices. So, that's all I got to say.
Matt, you have anything you'd like to add to TikTok being banned in Canada?
Let me think. If you
Time's up.
I have a few thoughts about TikTok. I'm a little skeptical about putting my thoughts into the video, just because a lot of people really like TikTok and might get offended by me completely dissing it.
Oh, boo-hoo. We're the 299 News. We're unfiltered and unafraid.
Yeah, that's a perfect
Vive la Acadie.
Well,
unfiltered.
Very biased.
Yeah, we kind of.
Anyway,
What we were.
tell us about how great TikTok is in your opinion.
Actually, I have to say the complete opposite.
That's insane. TikTok has stopped paying Matt.
TikTok came around. At first it wasn't. Actually, no. At first it was pretty bad. Kind of worse, actually. Because that's when a lot of people who were doing it were making really weird videos. Like, there is a weird side to TikTok. If you watch some of like a cringy compilation, it gets bad.
I bet.
But one of the reasons why I don't like TikTok is because it emphasizes like popularity and likes, because people who use those apps such as TikTok emphasize or likes and views, or make that seem more important than anyone else.
Well, I guess you could say that about any social media site, though.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. But
like Instagram or Twitter, Facebook.
But what makes TikTok more of an extreme is that it's obviously a website that this is gonna sound very it's a bit conspiracy, but
okay.
It's not. But well, I think it has been proven that China does use it to spy on American citizens.
Oh yeah.
That does sound very. Yeah, this does sound very bit extreme, but it's the truth.
But
And that's
it's
why-
not surprising either, because I mean we kind of are rivals with China. In a
No,
way.
it's not. But still, it's a
Really?
violation of national security.
Yeah.
And it's scary too because we don't know what they're using it to, if they're using it to their advantage, most likely.
Yeah.
Sorry if that was
an enemy of the United States.
so sorry if that
You
was
have more
like
information.
It's okay.
a
It's okay.
bit- my
Speaking of national
explanation was that
security
for-
threats, COVID.
Yeah. At our
Alright,
introduction.
moving
to-
on.
No,
Cole,
wait.
Cole.
At our introduction today, you probably heard that, or me say that, TikTok. Sorry, wrong
Oh
topic.
my goodness.
COVID may have come from a lab.
TikTok
well-
might have come from a lab.
It-
Alright,
may-
good job,
and maybe-
guys.
According to the energy
maybe
department,
not,
it may or may not have come from a lab, but yeah.
and maybe not a guy who was doing something with the bat. I don't know.
Hey, who knows? Maybe Walter White has something to do with it.
Whoa, Netflix is gonna come after us for that one.
AMC.
Netflix will hunt you down.
AMC, Cole. Get your company
They'll
straight.
both hunt you down.
Whatever.
Do you think that's like how zombie apocalypse started? Like some type of virus came out of a lab. Like it was like a malfunction, and then it came out, and it just
Yeah, it sounds a little
Spread.
far-fetched, but I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
COVID was gonna start.
Put our
You know,
tinfoil
it's-
hats on.
Talking about zombies, you ever heard of that fungus that grows on ants and takes control of their brain? It's kind of the inspiration for the game Last of Us.
Hmm.
Well, it is. Yeah, it's a fungus. You can put this in the video if you want. It's a fungus that grows. I don't know the name of it, but it grows on ants, and it pretty much it takes control of their brain and controls them. And essentially, in the idea of Last of Us, the fungus was able to mutate and latch on humans, and so on. That's how it started. Which, disturbingly, is kind of, I guess could happen. It's I don't say it's going to,
No.
but it makes.
But I mean, like,
it
one
makes more
thing could lead to another.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, this
definitely.
could lead to another thing, which could lead to,
Like this,
But hey,
like
it's all
most,
conspiracy, not trying to fearmonger nobody.
Yeah, like most like zombie shows, like
Say
The Walking Dead, they don't really talk about where it originated.
Researchers say
But
Ophiocordyceps campotoni refudidius, known as zombie ant fungus, controls the behavior of the carpenter ant. It also manipulates its victims onto the ground and infects all of them.
I
Post according
Yeah.
to researchers at Penn State.
told you, it's a real thing. It's a real.
Good job, guys.
thing.
Good job, Matt. I'm proud of you.
Hmm.
All right,
What's
squad.
next? What's next on the
Alright.
list?
On February 23rd, the United Nations had a vote. A vote to demand Russian withdrawal of troops from Ukraine, calling for a comprehensive and lasting peace. Where the vote was 141 countries voted in favor of this, 7 were against, and 32 decided not to vote.
Who held this
The
meeting?
United Nations.
9 Nations.
Yeah, this is at the
So
United Nations General Assembly.
So okay, so if the vote passes or the
To be honest, it's
decision
really not
passes.
going to do anything.
It's not. No,
It's really not
like
going to do anything.
I don't even understand why they would make the effort to do that, because Putin's just gonna say "F you" to the UN.
All right, boys. Time I'm gonna become a game show host. We haven't done games on this podcast. I want to see if you guys can guess the 7 countries that voted against pulling troops out of Ukraine. Da-da-da. Da-da-da.
Belarus.
Yeah, but that's my first one.
Belarus is one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait. China.
No, China decided to not vote.
No. Okay. No, China's not a part. Is China part of the UN?
No.
China
No.
is a part of the UN.
Wait, really?
Okay.
Oh.
Yes, China's one of the
Turkey?
highest. China's a part of the Security Council.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Turkey Turkey voted to remove people from Ukraine. They voted in favor.
All right. Wait, actually, just quick question. Where does Turkey stand on this? Like the issue in Ukraine? Do you know that?
Turkey voted in favor of the United Nations and was one of the 141 countries that is demanding Russia to withdraw troops.
Okay.
So you have one at the moment. Hey, did you guys know that Ukraine actually voted to get rid of the troops in Ukraine? That's crazy.
So that's 2, right?
No, it's one. It's still one. You're voting for the ones that have voted trying not to remove them.
Oh.
Bad guy countries. So you have one with Belarus right now.
And there were 7.
Germany.
There's 7.
No, it can't be Germany. Can't be Germany.
I'm just
Not
saying.
the Baltic states.
They
Three of these, you guys. 3 of them you should
Romania.
definitely get.
Okay.
Gotta think. What are the countries that is purely sided with Russia? One of them we've talked about on the podcast before, and then another one we've talked about almost weekly at this point. So.
Last week. No.
Luxembourg. I don't know.
No. All right, you guys want me to just give you the answers? All right, well, I'm surprised you guys didn't get this one. Russia voted to side with themselves. North Korea, Eritrea, Mali, Nicaragua, and Syria. Those were the 7 countries. I'm surprised you guys didn't get Russia.
I think that's too obvious that we didn't even take the time to think about
Russia
it.
shouldn't be. A lot of people think that Russia shouldn't be allowed to vote for themselves on an issue involved with themselves.
Ukraine voted for themselves.
Yeah, that's what they're saying is that neither one of them should have been allowed to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it would have changed the results.
It's like that one meme. It's like if someone gives me 1 like, I'll quit my job, and then they like their own post, and they're like, say no more.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it's like.
But
Yeah.
Aiden, do you want to do tech news now because we are actually at the 20-minute mark? Just about
Good idea.
total.
I don't know what I have for tech news.
You want me to do sports news while you think about it?
How about you do sports news? Yes, you do sports news.
Sports
I'll find
news.
the tech news.
Well, welcome to sports news. As sports is a cool thing. It turns out this week, earlier today, Adam Schefter reported that the Bears have talked to multiple teams that are open to trading the number 1 overall pick in this draft, in the NFL draft. And last night, my favorite basketball player, Damian Lillard, scored 71 points against the Houston Rockets, making him one of the very few players in league history to ever score 70 or more points. He did this with 71 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists on 22 for 38 shooting, and made a record 13 threes in Portland Trailblazers history and made all 14 of his free throws. He is now the 12th player to score 40 points or more against the Houston Rockets. And this is also the first season since the 60s, or I think it's the first season ever, but don't quote me on it, the first season ever where we've had multiple players score more than 70 points in a game this season, as Donovan Mitchell scored 71 earlier this year as well. And that's sports news. Thank you guys. Oh, baseball season's starting up too, but nobody cares about baseball.
I like baseball.
Yeah, me too.
Well, you know what? You know what, Matt? You actually don't count. All right, time for the history section of the week.
Oh.
It is now time.
No, I've actually got something.
Okay.
Oh crap! Crap.
Yeah. Oh, we could talk about someone we haven't talked about in a long time. Guys, remember that guy Elon Musk?
Yeah.
No, who's that?
Get off.
Wasn't that guy that we made fun of for a whole season?
Yep.
Yes. The guy we made fun of every episode for one whole season.
Apparently, he says remaining Twitter employees will soon receive very significant stock awards.
Yeah, baby. That's what I've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm. He called the most recent round of layoffs a difficult organizational overhaul focused on improving future execution.
Execution. Ayo, he's executing people?
That's what I thought. I'm a little worried.
Should I be worried about this man?
I'm a little worried myself, actually. Yeah. So anyway, so that happened.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Meta has a new tool for taking any sexual images of minors down to remove exploitative and sexualized content from participating platforms. The platform's run by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The tool is called the Take It Down tool, which allows users to anonymously report and remove partially nude, or sexually explicit images or videos of underage individuals found on participating platforms, and block the offending content from being shared again. So it's good to see. They're taking action. Yeah. Now, I don't know if we're going to include this in the podcast or not. But I just want to get you guys' thoughts on this.
China.
No. So there's oh, this is Gizmodo. Oh wow. Okay. So there's a new device that just came out this past Valentine's, or it came out just after Valentine's Day. This is for anyone that's in a long distance relationship. You know, they're lacking intimacy, but they're desperate. It's a kissing machine. You start a video call with the other person on the other end, and then you plug it into your phone and
Wait, what? Wait, say that again. Explain that. What do they plug into their phone?
it's like this silicone kissing thingy. You plug it into your phone.
It reminds me of an episode of
And then
Bang
you just
Theory. Big Bang Theory!
yeah, and then you could. Are you okay, Cole?
He's getting flashbacks.
Yeah. I'm experiencing some real PTSD right now.
My condolences.
Condolences.
Well, I guess the crazy part about this device is that it'll even transmit the audio.
Oh god.
Someone please save us.
Oh, and
I don't care
I didn't even read
what it
this.
is until...
You can upload your kisses for others to enjoy. What the?
What?
Oh.
So now it's like a social media app. Share your
It's
kisses
a
with your
social-
friends. Are they like videos and you have a description? I don't. I'm not gonna go into it.
Matt, soon you're gonna be able to send other things to this app.
All right.
Yeah,
History.
Yeah, history. Let's move on. Enough of that.
How do I
Let's
get
keep
this?
it to under 10 minutes. All right, starting at 5:30.
All right,
Oh,
let's
Matt,
go.
you have till 5:40. Go.
Okay, so today we're gonna end off the our discussion on the Napoleonic Wars. I'm not gonna try to make this short as possible. Am I lacking? I can't even speak, guys. Like it's getting bad.
Yeah.
Getting bad.
That last story must have really put you off, I'm guessing.
No, I mean in general. But
What story, Aiden?
So
Moving on.
I'm just gonna talk about like Napoleon's downfall. So already after during the Peninsula War, which was a conflict in Iberia or Iberian Peninsula, British forces allied with Spanish rebels who were under the occupation of France rebelled against France. But what made the war it lasted from I think let's see, it says it from 1807 to 1814, which is much longer than the other than the coalition wars, which lasted like 2 to 3 years. And the reason why it took so long is because the rebels utilized guerrilla warfare and Napoleon's
to what the U.S. in Vietnam.
Yeah,
it's very similar to that.
Napoleon's tactics didn't accommodate that type of warfare, so it was pretty much a losing battle for Napoleon or France in that campaign.
Question.
Yeah.
No.
Would you like to talk about the French invasion of Russia too?
Yeah, I'll get to that.
Okay. Okay.
And no, you're good. What other? So.
My bad.
In addition, so it was kind of like a domino effect. The issues in the Iberian Peninsula caused both Austria and who else? Austria and Great Britain to declare war on France. That ended pretty quickly within like 2 months from August to October. It ended with the Austrian capitulating to Napoleon, with Austria capitulating to Napoleon, and I think after that they were like Austria or Francis II had his daughter marry Napoleon so they could seal a political alliance.
Dubs.
During Napoleon's like high point during the Napoleonic Wars, he established the continental system in 1806, which forbade other nations from trading with Great Britain. This was not very effective because nations began violating the policies, in particular Russia, who decided to trade. The Tsar decided to trade with Great Britain
Alexander the First,
because their economy was failing and
Russia was being a Russia.
And they also
Russia was doing what it does best, is fail.
And Russia was disapproved of the Duchy of Warsaw, which was a French protectorate on their border. So they pretty much said F you to France or Napoleon and decided to trade with Great Britain. Before that, they had an alliance, but that fell apart.
Because of the continental system.
Because of the continental system. And Napoleon gathered 650,000 men and invaded Russia in 1812.
Big mistake.
After the Battle of Borodino, and the Russian army fled from Moscow. But what made that campaign so difficult for France and Napoleon was that the Russians used scorched earth, which is a tactic used to pretty much burning like cities or villages that could be of use to the enemy, so they can't live off the land. That's because one of Napoleon's tactics was to utilize the land to his benefit, so his army could move faster and be more effective. Now Napoleon couldn't do that, so that affected his maneuverability. In addition, when winter arrived, that created a lot more issues. Many French soldiers died from hypothermia and Russian skirmishes as they fled from Moscow back to France. Napoleon eventually just decided, because of issues in Paris, that he just decided to abandon his army. But I think
rode off without him, right?
Yeah, I think so. And of that 650,000 men, I think how much was left after
It was
that?
like under 30,000, I think. I can.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, only 30,000 returned. He brought 600,000 over 600,000, and only 30,000 returned.
So
Which, if you think about it, that's like under 0.5%. Oh no, wait, no, that's not under 0.5%. That's like 5%. 5% of his entire army survived.
Jesus. Yeah, and so in that, so because of that, the Napoleon's army was severely weakened and was now vulnerable to Allied attack. The Allies utilized that Napoleon's vulnerability to his expense, and in 1813, I believe, both Russia, Great Britain, Prussia, and Sweden declared war on France. Later, Austria would join the war, but until then, there was 100,000 unexperienced conscripts were forced into the army. Napoleon also ramped up manufacturing, but Napoleon lost almost all of his cavalry, and with a lack of horses, that significantly affected his maneuverability, and fast maneuvering was part of his tactics, and a lot of that was being lost. He couldn't pursue fleeing armies, which helped him in the past. And back to Leipzig. So, pretty much during that war, many of Napoleon's many of his puppet states began to rebel or sided with the Allies, and the Allies were able to push Napoleon to Leipzig, where he was defeated in October of 1813. And Napoleon fled back to Paris, where he created another army of conscripts, but lost. Then he was in 1814. Napoleon was forced to abdicate, and the old monarchy, the Ishine regime, was restored. Napoleon was exiled to the island of Elba off the coast of Italy, and he was even titled Emperor of Elba. And what's interesting is that Napoleon's time in Elba was actually pretty positive, and any normal person would have said, actually, this is pretty good, because
he rebuilt Elba, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He built it up into like an actual society.
Yeah, his family was given titles, and he had a lot of benefits. His family was given titles. He received a pension, and many people came to visit him as the great emperor. He was kind of seen as this, celebrity, or somebody, how you go to, like a celebrity's house to find them and meet them or whatever, get their autograph. That's pretty much how it was. So any normal person would have said, "This is pretty good. I'm satisfied." But not to Napoleon and his ambitious and stubborn personality. And during his time in Elba, he improved the social and legal system as well as the infrastructure. But like I said, he was dissatisfied with his current position, and without much or pushback, he sailed from Elba back to France, with an army of like 1,000, and journeyed to Paris. Most of the army sided with Napoleon because at the regime, or the monarchy that was restored, was just like the monarchy before the French Revolution. It was as if the French Revolution never happened. So the people were pretty pissed, and so even though Napoleon caused so much death in the French people, I guess to them it was a better option than the monarchy, because the monarchy was so corrupt and suppressive that it wasn't worth it. So they sided with him. The king, which was actually King Louis XVI's brother, he left after learning that most of the army has sided with Napoleon. And in this combination, Napoleon gathers an army and pushes north against both Britain and Prussia at the Battle of Waterloo. And Napoleon met Britain at Waterloo, and the British's goal was, if they could hold their position, they had the high ground, so they had the advantage. They could hold their position before Prussia came, so to give them Prussia time to reinforce them, then they could win, and they did eventually. And Napoleon was forced back to Paris, where he eventually abdicated again. Yeah, exiled again, sent to
St. Helena.
Yeah, St. Helena. And this place was much worse. Like, it was a depressing island off the coast of like Africa in the southern Atlantic Ocean. And
it's not off the coast. It's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, but it's as an idea, it's pretty close. It's south.
It's in between Brazil
southwest.
and Angola.
Yeah,
it's in between. It's like almost right in the middle in between those two.
Yeah, and it's a really small island. And that's where he died. He wrote a memoir. That's where most of the information about him is obtained. But that's where he died. He was put in a coffin somewhere in France. But
all right, end the story. Good job, guys. All right, let's go. Goodbye, people.
Wait. I have one more before we end this off. I think we should talk about like his influence on Europe, because he's not just He's not just some
Joe Schmo.
Yeah, some general that fought in some war. He actually had a lot of effect on following history. His spread of enlightenment through Europe, through Europe, prevented the restoration of the monarchies. And
Hitler was very inspired by Napoleon.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty interesting, because a lot of Italy and Germany's nationalism and unity comes from the occupation of Napoleon and the Enlightenment movement. Because
Which led to the rise of fascism.
It inspired this 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 unity to work together and unite, and over time there were different things added together, and just which rose to the nationalism or fascism in Germany. When Germany lost World War One, that created a lot of hatred for the Allies. So, yeah, you get that part. His revolutionary tactics changed warfare, so we can conclude that Napoleon was very, very important guy, even though he was not probably the most empathetic person in the world, and definitely had a huge ego, and that needed that just needed to be kept up.
It's just like Matt's ego.
Exactly. But that's pretty much it. You can end off the.
Good job, Matt.
Thank you.
Good job, Matt.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Very proud of you.
It is hot in my room. My God.
It's actually cold here.
Hey,
do you want to switch rooms?
How do we want to end this? Thanks for watching. Don't let a dictator take over your country. Goodbye.
Exactly. Don't let him.
Well, that's kind of hard to do.
French national anthem as we fade out. I don't know the song. I'm just making up.